Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Cosmic Culture, the channel where we talk about major movie news, theories, ending explained, and much more about major movie and television news. I'm Chris, and today we're going to be talking about a huge part of the last Wandavision episode. So if you're still avoiding spoilers for some reason, be sure to click away now and come back after you've checked out the episode. But we're going to be talking about this mysterious book that was down in Agatha Harkness's lair at the end of the last episode of Wandavision. Now, off the cuff, there are a lot of guesses of what this book could be, what it could mean, but I think there is sufficient evidence already existing in the MCU for us to place exactly what it is and why it's so important. If you love to stay up to date on the latest news, theories, and explanations of your favorite TV shows and movies, be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss any of our daily uploads. So there is a specific reason why I think this book has a lot of importance moving forward, and out of all of the objects in Agatha's lair, this was the only one that they hovered over for a significant amount of time on its own. We saw all sorts of goodies and things in there. We saw skulls, we saw chalices, we saw relics, we saw shields and posters and things hidden all over the lair. It was an abundance of cool little hidden items. But this book specifically is the only thing that they held on, and then they switched over to Agatha coming in to say hi to, the Scarlet Witch and then take control of her mind. So the question is, why did they single out this book? Where does it fit in? What is it? We're going to explain all of that in this video. Now, I've come up with two explanations for what this book is. Why it got its nice little cameo. It was shown on its own. There's a reason for that. This first one is the one that most people have kind of gone ahead and assumed is what's happening with this book. But this second idea that I'm going to share with you, I've come up with myself, and I'm really excited about the potential that it could be real. But it's a theory video. Let me know what you guys think this book is in the comments down below. So, first off, the Darkhold. Now, we've seen this appear in multiple different areas around the MCU, including Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. The biggest thing for me is that it doesn't look the same as that book. But that really doesn't mean anything. Maybe Marvel decided to vamp up the way it looks, make it look a little bit more maniacal and evil, and that's going to be the book that Agatha Harkness is using to summon the big bad, whether that's Nightmare or Mephisto, or maybe even she's summoning it to bring her son back from rabbit form into a human form, and his soul has actually been saved in this rabbit whose name is Senior Scratch, which resembles her son's name a lot. So those are the possibilities of what she could be using the Darkhold for. How she got her hands on it, we're not really sure how that would come about, since last we saw it was with the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which, although it was canon, isn't really canon. It had a very weird particular way of existing, as in the MCU affected what happened on the TV show, but what happened on the TV show didn't affect what happened in the MCU. So they could come up with their whole different story for the Darkhold if they wanted to. There is that kind of creative ability for them to have. It will be a little confusing for a while, but I'm sure they'll explain it really well if that is the case. But that would be the use of the Darkhold for Agatha Harkness and why she would want to have it. And she could be using Wanda as a distraction to keep everybody else kind of thinking this is all Wanda's fault while she's underneath this city that she's had Wanda take over and doing all of this evil summoning of evil spirits like Mephisto or Nightmare. That's what the Darkhold would be, that's why she would have it, and it would not be an impossible thought for her to want this Darkhold as a witch and use it for some evil stuff. That being said, I've come up with a different idea of what this book could be. We're going to go back to 2016's Doctor Strange, where he's been introduced to all of the mystic arts. He's learning, he's reading, he's using his great intelligence. He gets to the point where he wants more knowledge and he starts going to the Forbidden Book area. Now, we already know a little bit about it because this is where the pages were stolen from, but the book remained there. But while they're talking, we can see there is a hole that does not have a book in it. Now, it's possible that this book that is not in this section, which is not the book that was stolen because only the pages were stolen, so the book is still there. It's still going to be in the library. But this empty slot could in fact have held a book that I am calling the Nexus book. Now, what does the Nexus book do? It is going to control the multiverse. It's a way to open up multiverse realms for people who practice the mystic arts, and it gives them the ability to enter these different realms. Now, why am I calling it the Nexus book? That's going to be because of the commercial we saw. And now, out of all of the trailers and commercials we've seen in the Wandavision TV series, this one just quite hasn't had an explanation for me that made sense just yet up to this point. A lot of people were looking up the definition of Nexus and what it means, or maybe it connects to the Nexus series, but that's a Fortnite series, so I don't imagine that that's the case. The question is, what does the Nexus pill do? And they explain that throughout the trailer, where they're saying it can bring you to a different reality and make you feel better, and they're talking about all this stuff that hints very heavily towards the multiverse. I think it would be very cool if it turns out that this book was stolen from the library, from the forbidden section, and either by Agatha or for Agatha, somebody stole it for her, she's got her hands on it, and she is using this book to manipulate the multiverse, which we've seen potentially through the bringing in of Quicksilver that we saw in that little trailer where that was going through telling us everything was Agnes, that she was the one that brought him in. Now, it's not 100% confirmed, hard confirmed, that he's from a different multiverse yet, but it only makes sense that if they're bringing in the character that played Quicksilver in the Fox universe, that is going to be some multiverse manipulation. So, she would have learned how to do that in this book that I'm referring to as the Nexus book, and the little hint for what it was came in that trailer as they're talking about different multiverses and different opportunities to have a new you, and she's learning that in the multiverse book. Now, this multiverse book was stolen, and Doctor Strange is going to want it back. Now, clearly he's been very busy over the last few years, so hunting down forbidden books wasn't really the top of his priority. But now that things have come back to normal, he is going to return to doing his job, protecting the mystic arts, and he's going to have to go get this forbidden book back, whether it's the Darkhold or the Nexus book, as I've called it. I just think it makes a lot of sense to get Doctor Strange involved that way. Now, obviously, however Doctor Strange is going to get involved, which he will be involved with Wanda, whether in Wandavision or in Doctor Strange, we know for a fact those two worlds are going to collide. It's going to be because of the multiverse, especially since this movie is already called The Multiverse of Madness. Now, the collection of this book, if it has something to do with interpreting the multiverse and manipulating the multiverse, is going to be that big motivating factor for Doctor Strange to get involved in Wandavision. So that's all going to start to play out and pay out, but I think personally that is a very, very good explanation of what this book is, if not the Darkhold. Obviously, a lot of people have already gone ahead and said this is the Darkhold 100%, she's going to be summoning Mephisto, and I don't disagree with those claims and theories. I just thought that this might be another explanation for this secret book that we do not 100% know what it is just yet. So I'm calling it the Nexus book. Because of the Nexus commercial, I think it's going to have the ability to manipulate the multiverse, and Doctor Strange is going to want it back. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you think this is a possible theory, or do you have a better one? Let me know what you think. As always, thank you to everybody who watched till the very end of the video. If you found it helpful, useful, or entertaining, be sure to subscribe to the channel, turn on that notification bell, and we'll see you right here in the next one on Cosmic Culture.